on the fly with the group, okay? And you know the rule. If you make eye contact, you may be in trouble. So, are we good, Chase?
Ready.
Okay, good. All right, we want to give you a quick little update on the board meeting this weekend, okay? And I've actually gotten some bullet points down so I don't ramble too much. But it was just as usual. It was a great gathering of the people. You know, God owns this ministry. We are charged to run it, but the board is responsible for it, and they take that very seriously. And they led us in a time of prayer and devotion that was just, as usual, pretty amazing for these people that come from kind of all over the country. And just we had a very anointed, just good time. They are very engaged, very dialed in, very prayerful. They're all in financially. Every one of them supports the ministry. And so it was just good, a good time in Dallas. And we got to cover some fun things. They got a great review on the financials from Randy. And right now I'll just tell you and our friends out in the Q world that'll go out. Basically, expenses are strong right now in a good way. Revenue is strong right now today. Going into the summer, we're in a good spot. We're watching registrations for this summer diligently, just to make sure that we fill every bed we can for ministry. But going into the summer, I would report that we're in good, strong footing right now. Agreed, Randy?
I concur.
He concurs, okay? And that's always good. That's always good. We want to be good stewards, okay? There was great enthusiasm for Tracy City. We had very good dialogue about just that whole prospect of buying land. We are roughly $375,000 away from being able to pull the trigger on purchasing the land, and they really leaned in and tried to make sure that we have a plan. What happens next, and where do they get involved next? And so Reed's out actually on the road today, trying to close that gap and raise that money. But it's just amazing to watch the generosity that people have continued to give to this ministry, and so we should all be pretty excited about that. I had a visitor last week. How many people in here got to meet Wes Cantrell? Anybody? He was a chairman of a multi-billion-dollar company. He lives in Atlanta. He's got four kids, 22 grandkids, 22 great-grandkids. He wrote me an email back. I mean, he is a mover and shaker. He's an influencer. And he just said, I am just so blown away by the professionalism, the love, the unity, and just the ministry of what I saw at Pine Cove. He's never heard of us before. And he said, I don't know what's coming next from our family. He said, but I just think Pine Cove could literally be used to change the culture in this country. And so it was good. So thank you guys for just being who you are. Tracy City, we're just going to keep faithfully moving after that. The board also enthusiastically endorsed our commitment for cultural engagement. And the bottom line is we just want, we're Christ-centered, others-focused, and seriously fun. But the vision we want to have is that people from all nations and tribes would feel welcome, celebrated, and loved. And that's what we're going after, and we're going to stay after that. We've talked about it a little bit, right, over the last few years. And then we were able to report that a couple of legal issues settled outside of court, which is God protecting us again. There were two that could have been really ugly and just, unfortunate, but that's the world we live in today. But both of them took care of themselves without us having to get into the court system. So anyways, it's just good board kind of stuff. The most exciting thing that we got to cover, and I'm going to pass it over to Dutch, and he'll let you hear about what happened with Katie Widener, an alumni.
Yes. You guys have seen on In the Queue already, a little thing with Katie and the Alumni Network. She is a burst of energy, as you know, and she burst into the boardroom as well.
Can we do something collectively for Katie?
Yes.
We always some of us like to go, Katie Widener says, hey! So when I say Katie Widener says, let's get a hey out for Katie, okay?
Yes, that's good, that's good.
Katie Widener says, hey!
Hey, Katie. She explained what we have already heard, but I want to reiterate. This is something I just kind of want to have on our radar about what the heartbeat of our alumni network is and what we're trying to do with that. Is to inspire a community of people who courageously live out their calling, who feel wildly cared for, and partner together for crazy effective ministry. And she just recapped a lot of her interactions with our alumni and where we want to see this going and the impact that we have had already with a few folks. And it's really fun to see as we're engaging with our alumni how bought in they are to what God did in their life when they were at camp. And honestly, we came into this wanting to bless them and go, hey, how can we help leverage your experience in your community, connect you with people? Like, what can we do to help you? And what they keep saying is, tell me, here's what you can do to help me. Tell me how I can help you. And so it's just cool to see that our college staff can come in and have this passion for being Christ-centered and others-focused. They're still that way after they leave. It's not just something they do when they're on the job. So it was really, really fun to see that and get to hear that from our alumni. So that was the Katie update.
That's great, and Craig won't say this, but I have to, because I have to try to embarrass him every chance I get.
Thank you.
If you look back in '97, is that the summer? 96, 97?
97.
There, Craig, when he was the director at the ranch camp, he had a group of college staff that were part of his team back then. And if you look at where they're at today, 21 years later, 22 years later, they're literally pastors in some of the biggest churches in the country. They're CEOs of companies. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff all over the world. And it's just amazing to see what God will do with some of the alumni that will be used for his purposes. So anyways, that's in the queue for today, and we're going to turn it back to Jeff, and we'll have a great time picking our coffee. Did we talk about that for in the queue? We are, just to make it clear, we were going to do a blind tasting today with 6 different brands, and we're going to try to pick a Pine Cove blend. And we're partnering with Coffee City, our friends down the road, and they have given us an amazing pricing and their capacity to do a lot of coffee for us. It can be donor gifts. It can be in the retail store. It's going to be in all the kitchens. And we're hoping that people will realize that every cup of coffee that they drink can actually be helpful in sending the kid to camp. Because the money raised off of that will go right into Project 319. It'll be our 319 blend. So we need to get excited about that and pick a good one today. No pressure, okay? Thanks, guys.